actually cliffs and shit. Well, I'm here in Billings, Montana. So I was off to a pleasant surprise today because I was on my way. I decided to have a day where I just kind of edit and stuff like that. And I wanted to shoot this video on how to handle the heat. But then I came across this park. It's called Swords something Park. Just look up Swords Park and you'll probably find it. In Billings, Montana, which is one of the bigger cities in Montana. And I wasn't expecting much. I just wanted to chill at the park while I wait for the library to open, which we're going to get to on how all this. So if you tuned in, skip a little ahead and you'll find fucking where I'm getting to the meat and potatoes. But then I came across this. There's this huge cliff, and it basically overlooks the entire city skyline. And it's pretty fucking awesome. It's a little noisy with planes and shit. Well, that plane was flying pretty... Oh, I'm at the edge of an airport. It's a long way down and shit. So it's near the airport. And I don't know, it's just these little gems. I can't stress enough, make it a point to visit some of the local parks along your route. They're free, and you never know what you're gonna find. And this was definitely a highly recommend. Like, I enjoyed this more than I enjoyed the Battlefield yesterday, and that's a pay to get in national park. So you never know. They don't fuck around with their parks here. Shit. Fence, no nothing. Just here you go. There's a big ass cliff taller than their tallest fucking building. Wonder how many people have jumped off this shit. Woohoo. That weird ass house. There's even more shit over here. Look at this. This was a gem. Free to City Park. And all I did was want to chill here till the fucking library opens. And it's a rock climber's wet dream. You got a view of the city skyline here. Not a huge city, by the way. All kinds of cliff action and shit. Getting a little bit better, able to get closer. Definitely, yeah. Shit. Didn't die. We're going even higher now. It pays to keep an eye on your local parks and county parks in these, you know, rural towns or small cities like Billings. That being said, here I'm going to talk about, this is a culmination of some of the top ways to not fucking cook yourself to death in your fucking car when it's 100 degrees out. Or even when it's only 80 degrees, your car's probably going to be 100 degrees. I see a lot of van lifers struggle with this. And it's mainly because they seem resolved to spend the daylight hours in their fucking vehicle. You know, that's kind of not the point of being out here. The car is where you sleep at night. Or if you're in the middle of nowhere and you can chill. You know, and I'm trying to leave out the fact that I'm in a Prius, that I have that climate control ability at the cost of fuel. Not everybody who's out here living in vehicles has that luxury. It's a fairly affordable luxury, but you're giving up a lot of space, a lot of comfort, and a lot of room for shit. I'm willing to do that. I like sleeping comfortably and not waking up in a pool of my own sweat at night, but I'm not inexperienced in staying in vehicles where I wasn't allowed to run it, or in some cases, the fucking air conditioner never worked in the truck. So here's some tips on things you can do, particularly if you're car camping and stealth camping. This might not work out for some of the larger rigs that are more obvious. So if you're in a Sprinter van, or well, first of all, if you can afford a fucking Sprinter van, you can insulate the hell out of it, and you can put a fucking air conditioner and solar in it, and there you go, problem solved. Go park and run your little AC unit off of your solar. You need a lot of batteries for that. That being said, if you're in an RV, this doesn't apply to you either. You can just run your generator and run your air conditioner. It's going to cost you a lot of money, but this is more geared towards people who are maybe just wanting to do some road trips in their car and not have to pay for hotels and shit. Generally, you want to minimize your time in the car during the day. Some of these tactics could also apply in winter time when you're staying warm is the factor. But basically, you want to take advantage of what's out there. I mean, you paid taxes your whole life, right? So why not get some of that, what you paid for, back before they spend it all on horribly fucking stupid shit that we don't need. So number one, if you're in remote areas, there's really only one solution aside from running your vehicle, of course, which isn't very good for some vehicles. Hybrids can get away with it. And that is to find a shady spot in a elevated location, preferably. Going down to the southern states in the summertime is about the dumbest thing you can do as a nomad. Do not go to the south. When it's summer, you go north and in elevation, so northwest-ish. And here, I'm in Montana right now. I was in South Dakota last week. South Dakota was absolutely unbearable during the day, like 90 to 93 outside. So even if you found shade doesn't solve all your problems. It just keeps your car from becoming a solar oven, essentially, because whatever the temperature is outside, when the sun beats through your windows, you're going to see probably a 10 to 20 degree higher than the ambient temperature in your vehicle. And so it could get, if it's 93 out, it could become 110, 120. And I had to run my Prius because I had no shade where I was camping in a lot of places. But that was my choice to camp there, and I had the ability to deal with it. So finding local parks. Local parks usually come with some kind of shade. Not this one. I can't say that 100%. There's a tree over there with a car already parked under it. But find a place with shade. If there's not a lot of trees, another option could be, now this doesn't work at high noon obviously, is to find a shopping center or a building or, you know, a mall. Malls sometimes have trees in their parking lots as part of their ambiance. You can park under those, or you can park next to a building that is, you know, you're on the shady side of the building, and that way you're only dealing with the ambient temperature. And, you know, throw in a battery operated fan and there you go, you're golden. I could hook a fan to that Jackery, which you could put in any vehicle. Charging it in a non-hybrid vehicle is not something you want to do, but you could take it to the library or coffee shop in a backpack, plug it in and charge it off of the wall power and whatnot. So that's just some ideas on, you know, so if I wanted to run a fan in here and put window screens, there's these window screens. There's these window screens you can buy on Amazon, which will go over, you open your door, you put it over the window, you close the door, and you got your screens in. And that keeps the bugs out. And if you're in the shade, it's tolerable, but you're not gonna feel comfortable. You're still, if it's 90 out and you're in the shade, it's still gonna be 90. And maybe slightly cooler in the shade, depending on where you're at. If there's good airflow and wind outside, that helps as well. This is like my lowest on my recommendation list. And it's mainly when you are in out-of-the-way places that don't have other options. So let's get to the other options. There are a host of public air-conditioned fucking places for you to hang out in. Grab your backpack and a laptop or whatever the hell it is you want to do, and go there and hang the fuck out during the day. It's awesome. Find museums. If you got a little money, then you can go to those places. But I'm talking more in the budget, you know, survive and trying to minimize spending realm. So here's a few things I would utilize. Coffee shops. Now, that's if you have a little bit of money. Generally, most sit-down coffee shops, I know Starbucks is evil, and this is only in places where the coof isn't fucking destroying this option. Basically, you can go in, you sit down, you got Wi-Fi, you've got a place to plug in your laptop or your phone or whatever it is you want to sit and do, and you sit there, you buy your $2 to $3 coffee, and then you get 50-cent refills. So as caffeinated as you want to get, you could I've spent all day editing in some of these coffee shops. And they're all over the place. Even small towns tend to have some kind of coffee shop option. Though the more smaller the town, the less likely you're going to have Wi-Fi and other luxuries. But it's still an air-conditioned space where you can sit for as long as you like and no one really fucks with you. In Rapid City, there is a couple of Starbucks, but those were kind of shitty because they shut down for coof. But there was a mom and pop coffee shop that was identical in setup to, actually a little bit more, I don't know, a better environment I felt than Starbucks, but had the same price structure and all of that. You go in, you buy your coffee, you can they even let you have like a normal coffee mug and you could refill that. And it's 50 cents for the refills, and the Wi-Fi was excellent especially in the mom and pops. Starbucks tends to limit your bandwidth, but if you go to a mom and pop coffee shop that has Wi-Fi, they tend to give you the full whammy. So I was able to upload 4K videos and do all of that shit and sit there and enjoy it. And if it's really unbearably hot out, you can just hang out there and get some stuff done or watch some videos on the internet. Okay, so you don't want to spend any money at all. Public libraries. You can spend most of the day. Some of them are open late too, like 9 or 10 at night. You can go in. It's a nice quiet place to sit. You could, do your internet thing. You can read a book. They have books in fucking libraries. You could sit there and read a book all day and just relax in the nice air-conditioned space. So that is an option. Another option is malls. Say you want to get some exercise and it's blistering hot out and you don't want to fucking walk around in the hot sun and have to, you know, get all sweaty and nasty. You can go into a shopping mall. I prefer dead malls because there's less people and it's, you know, but it's still an air-conditioned fucking mall. And you can walk around it, you can sit and lounge. So a lot of them have the chairs that are comfortable to sit in the middle of the mall. You know, and you don't have to buy anything to do this. I mean, there's people that walk malls all the time. So basically, just think of any air-conditioned public space to spend your time in to get out of the heat. The other option would be to find a state park if you have $5, preferably one with a lot of trees and canopy, or water, so you can go swimming. That's another option as well. Go to a park where you can cool off in more natural ways. But that costs a little bit of money. But the good news is you're generally good till sundown. And then you take, you know, at night, assuming you're in the northern territories, you're going to have a very comfortable night. You don't have to even run your vehicle if you got the window screens. Park in an area where no one's going to fuck with you and while your screens are down. Don't roll your window all the way down, so at least they just can't fucking come in and open the door. But that allows you to comfortably sleep at night. It's been getting down to 70s, sometimes 60s here in the northern states in the summer at night. And you'll find that if you go into elevation, you have that same situation. Like if you're in the Rockies and stuff like that, you might not even freeze your ass off. But during the day, the sun can make it blazing hot. But at night, you could get down to the 50s and even 40s in the mountains. So it's a matter of, as a nomad, you've got to roll with the weather and all of that. And it's not going to get any easier out here over the coming years. I have this funny feeling that we are in a severe drought in the Midwest and the West, and with the amount of fires, there's smoky haze here right now. There's actually, I heard there's a fire right where I'm going. Bozeman, Montana, just had I-90 was fucked up with some fire, so I'll be going through there before I turn south to Yellowstone. It was actually one of my planned stops is Belgrade, and you know, because I'm familiar with the area. That's where I was last time I went to Yellowstone. So I'm heading to Belgrade, Montana, and it's right there, and there might be a fire in my way. But it's hot, it's dry. I haven't seen any fucking rain. The whole week I spent in South Dakota, not a single drop of rain. It was dusty and dry and miserably hot during the day, but cool at night. It was the evenings were nice. Like I even had to put a hoodie on a couple of the times I was out at night. So as far as escaping the heat, you know, north and elevation, those are your big things, and places with a lot of trees and canopies, so that if you want to be in a more remote area, you can go out into the woods, bring a tent. Doesn't hurt to have a tent and go out and rough it in the woods for a little bit to stay cool, you know, and it gives you a nice break to get out of your fucking car too, so there's that. But you know, staying in your car when you have no climate control is the number one thing that'll take out a nomad. I watched Unstoppable Morgan lose her mind by going to Florida. And yeah, if you're a fan, you know, tell her I've talked a little bit of shit. You know, going in Florida in a Bronco with 3 dogs, she did everything she could to try and make that fucking thing. She bought a generator and then hooked a full room AC to the back. But the problem was simply there was no insulation in the Bronco, and all the windows were there wide open, and that it doesn't matter how much of a fucking AC you put in, that's not going to help. In here, this has some insulation, yes, but there's another thing that you should, if you're out here, invest in, and they're cheap. They're at Walmart. sunshades. I have them everywhere. Like my back window's currently covered with them. I have a couple for the side windows, and I put them where strategically they need to be for reflecting the heat. This makes a significant difference in the internal temperature of the car. So putting these in and running my AC, I was able to withstand just parking the Prius in the middle of the blazing sun and still keep reasonably comfortable in here. It's hard to sleep like that because you still get heat seeping through and a little bit of heat going around these. But for $10, you get 2 for 10, or 13 for the larger ones. I got these for the front windows. And, you know, you throw those in, not only do you get privacy, but it reflects some of that heat out, and insulates the inside a little bit. So if you combine that with some shade, it provides you with essentially your own shade too. This does give you that shaded environment inside your vehicle, but only if your fucking roof is insulated some, and the Prius roof seems to be semi-insulated. I wouldn't call it as good as like house insulation, but you know, it gets the job done. You need an insulated vehicle to stay in your vehicle during the day in a heated environment, especially down south. You're just not going to be able to sit in your car or in your van or whatever it is unless you have insulation, and a way of insulating your windows too, like Reflectix and that kind of stuff. I don't do that because I can run my Prius. If I could not run my Prius during the day, I would simply have to insulate the windows and probably even open up the sides and the roof and put some insulation in there, or find another solution. And that's why you see, you know, a lot of vehicle dwellers struggle with this life out here because they don't take that extra step. And that's why I didn't go for a van, because you have to do that. There's no way you're going to drive a van without insulation and spend any amount of time in it during the day. Even parking in the shade, you're still not able to keep cool in there. But if you insulate it and you park in the shade and you blow some fans in there, that can put it in a tolerable range. Like right now, with my windows cracked, it's semi-tolerable in here not running my car. And I could put the window screens in and increase airflow even more. And then I put those window shades in, and then I create some more shade and also some more insulation to help keep the cool air in and the heat out. But at the end of the day, the number one thing I would do, especially if you're near small towns and cities, I don't do this in big cities as much because I'm not as confident in security. You know, statistically speaking, a large density of people means a greater chance of somebody breaking into your car and taking your shit. So I tend not to do these kinds of things in big cities. I go to smaller cities or smaller towns and do these things there. You gotta kind of just think in terms of staying cool. You know, what things are available to you in the area you're staying in. There's gyms, there's, you know, public pools, there's water parks, there's, you know, tons of ways of cooling off. But ultimately, the best way is to be up north, be in elevation, and take advantage of the resources available where you're at. And you can just hop on Google or one of these things and find out what public spaces are available to you, and there almost always are public spaces for you to take advantage of. Obviously, don't look like you're homeless going in. Don't do any of that because they might fuck with you. I haven't been fucked with, and look at me. Shit, I look like a Rob Zombie movie. You know, I mean, these are all things to take into consideration to get out of the heat. Do not just sit in your fucking... I've seen this out here. I've seen it 3 times now, where somebody's living in their vehicle, clearly, and they're literally parked in the baking sun, sweating their ball. You could tell they were miserable. It looked miserable. They were sitting in their van, with the doors open and the cars. I've particularly seen this in Rapid City, where a lot of homeless people are actually living in vehicles. At the truck stop, you see a lot of them parked there, and they're in these old, nasty vehicles with none of the fucking luxury shit you see from the Nomads on YouTube. Keep in mind, involuntarily being stuck in your vehicle is not as fun as when you're doing it, and especially if you have a home base to go back to. And I felt for these people, but at the same time, they should be taking advantage of some of these other methods to stay cool. Sitting in a parking lot at a truck stop in 91-degree weather in your vehicle with the window, they had their doors open, they were sitting there. There's a reason you don't leave dogs and babies in cars during the day. You could die. Do not stay in your vehicle during the day. That's not the point. Get to a park. Public parks are everywhere. At the very least, get your ass into some shade. Get out of your vehicle and sit in the shade somewhere, and you'll probably be all right. Drink lots of water and shit. Those are the options. Take advantage of what is around you. You paid into the system all of these years. You might want to get some of your money's worth, before they spend it on all of the shit I already said that, but it's still, I look at it as a way of getting some value for the taxes I've paid throughout my life. But if you have some ideas I didn't think of, please put them in the fucking comments below. I am always looking for new ideas and innovations and ways to sustain being out here for long periods of time. And at a minimum amount of money too, Now I've spent a little money on this trip. I'm enjoying myself, but at the same time, I'd like to know that I could just be out here on a budget and not, break the bank, and maybe even make enough income from my income streams to sustain me out here, which I've been doing fairly well between Bitcoin, making lots of YouTube content, and it's been pretty good. Some of you have contributed to me being out here, and I thank you for that. You definitely helped me outpace the money I spend out here. But I have eaten out a little excessively, so I'm pretty much riding that break-even line while I'm out here right now. So that being said, I also have been taking advantage of some of the free things that are available to me, because I can get into all national parks and national monuments. As a military veteran, you get the military pass, and you literally just get you in. And some of these places are like $30-40 for a car. So I'm taking advantage of that as an option, which they also have like visitor centers and presentations, which are air conditioned for you to sit down, enjoy some history or learning some shit, and relax in the nice air conditioning. So there's that as well. But yeah, please like and subscribe for more shit, and I'll make more shit. If you like this video and you want me to keep making videos and going on road trips and living in a vehicle periodically, please head to ScottTheTruckDriver.com and leave a tip in the virtual tip jar. Or if you don't want to contribute, but you would like to be able to keep a heads up on whenever I post, whenever I go live, or whenever I make an uncensored video on Odysee, doing one of my talks, because I get triggered and I talk shit. That's what I do. It's kind of what you guys watch my shit for half the time. Sign up for my free email list, and I will let you know when I plan on going live, or I plan on doing a premiere, or I plan on doing all of that, so you can help, because Susan isn't the best at making sure that you can show up for these things. And even though I've been given more notice, like a hour heads up to my premieres and stuff, can't always schedule a time, but I can give you a ballpark usually. So stay tuned for that. sign up for that email list. It's free. I don't spam you. Maybe once or twice a week I'll send you an email letting you know what you may have missed or what I got coming up, and maybe where I'm going to be in the near future. It's the best way for me to communicate directly with people who want to keep tabs on my shit and want to watch all my shit. So there's that. While you're there, you could purchase my music album, The Middle Life, which is available on my website. But if you don't want to do that, you can go to Spotify and iTunes and also consume it there. And I think it's floating around some other places. You tell me. I don't know. I hope so. And I hope it's doing well, but I don't find out for a couple months how I did on the streaming services. So that's it. I'm heading to, I'm going to be chilling here in Billings today in this area. Working on some videos, doing some of the things I talked about. Because I want to give time for that fire that is in between me and where I want to go to get under control. And not to mention, I don't want to be outside inhaling smoke all day, and it's getting a little smoky here, so there's that. So I'm heading west. I'll probably stop in Belgrade, shower, change, and then go and pick up some groceries for my trip into the wilderness, and that way I can cook myself some food out there, or I'll be food for some bears, I don't know. And then yeah, I'm gonna spend probably a week. Damn planes. I'm gonna spend probably a week or so in Yellowstone and Grand Tetons, and then I'm going to cut south to, or I think it's southwest to Utah, and then stop in Moab, where I'm really gonna have to be on the ball with staying cool, because it does get in the hundreds during the day in some of these places. Hopefully it's getting later in the year where at the very least it's cooling down at night. Deserts do tend to chill out at night, which is nice. So it's basically hide from the heat during the day and then at night do your thing. But all of these things still apply in the desert as well. So have a nice motherfucking day. Shit. I'm really cranking out the content too. I'm kind of proud with the amount of content I've been able to put out. Because basically when I'm not traveling and doing things, I can be working on videos to help pass some of the time while I'm out here and be productive and generate a small income while I'm on the road to help offset the costs of everything. So, alright, I gotta get fucking going. I'm gonna go sit in the library the rest of the day and then head out to spend the night in Belgrade. Hopefully it's not all on fire. And then on to Yellowstone. Also be patient, because I'm probably going to be in some spotty internet areas in the future. I'll try and keep an eye on where the internet areas are so I can continue to I want to be able to go live when I'm in the area down there. And I think there's a town, West Yellowstone, I think it is, where I can go live and kind of have the internet and whatnot. But I'm also going to keep an eye out any other gems I can spot along the way, and I'm also going to look for some free camping in the wilderness while I'm down there. So we'll see how that goes. That's always an adventure. I never get good sleep in those places because I don't know if I'm really supposed to be staying there, and you stick out like a sore thumb even in a stealthy ass vehicle when you are parked in the middle of nowhere by yourself. So, you know, I tend to blend in places and when I stealth camp, as opposed to going off by yourself, because the more by yourself you are, it doesn't matter how much stealth you have. At the very least, somebody sees a car sitting out in the middle of nowhere, they're gonna fuck with it, you know, because no one's around, you know. Whereas if you're in a Walmart parking lot, they got cameras, they got people coming and going all day. Truck stops, same thing, you know. But that's another video where I talk about top places to sleep while you're out here, and especially if safety is a concern and you want to make sure you're not going to get fucked with, you know. But that'll be a future video. Have a nice motherfucking day and shit, and free New York. Yeah, don't let them fucking take everything away in New York. I'm hoping there's something left when I get back. that I can do. But if not, I'll just hide there, pile money, and then come out here.